Hi, Lily Quinn here. Good morning. I have here a cardigan, okay, one of these neoprene fabrics that stretches but very strong, cardigan that I finished the one armhole. I have another armhole to work on. I just want to show you how to work these stitch dial and stitches to get a real good finish. I tested which one I wanted on this. You can take a look. I tried the zigzag, and I think the zigzag was too close, like it went into the fabric too much. Then I tried another stitch, kind of decorative stitch, and beautiful stitch. And then I tried this one, which is usually used on stretch fabrics, and I find it's quicker and it flattens out the fabric very well. And as you can see, the finished look on the armhole, there was no puckering or anything, very neatly done. And I'm going to demonstrate on the other armhole. Now, before I turn it in and sew with the decorative stitch, I did zigzag on the edge to stretch the raw edge first, because what I noticed is that, or what you may notice is that, whenever you're turning an armhole into itself like that, it's going from a finite circle and you're bending it into itself, and yes, it stretches, but sometimes it puckers. Okay, so I want to give it a little more stretch with this zigzag. That way, when it turns in, it doesn't pucker too much. Okay, so I set the machine on zigzag, regular zigzag. I'm using it for edge finishing, and my stitch length is between 1 and 2, and the stitch width is on 3. Okay, so I just go around the armhole, and you will realize the positioning of this kind of, of the fabric is that I put the edge of the fabric in the middle split of the foot, presser foot right there. So I maintain that position right in the middle, but it's a little closer, like the raw edge is a little closer to the right side of the presser foot. Now, see, it's stretching it already. It's giving it a good stretch so that when I'm ready to bend it in, I don't have issues. Okay, so I'm doing that. I'm just going around. Once I finish that, I'll be ready to. Okay. So you see it? It's looking, kind of stretched out, which is just what I need to turn it inside itself, and it's going to lay flat with no puckering, getting it ready for me to do my top stitching. And for the top stitching, I have to decide which stitch to use. Now, on the stitch dial of this particular machine, which is the heavy duty Singer 4423, there are 2 different colors of stitches, black and blue. The blue stitch, if you want to do any of the stitches in blue, you will have to turn the dial to S1. It's colored blue. You will turn it on there, and that will enable you to do any of the blue stitches. However, if you want to do the black, which is what I'm actually doing, I'm going to put it on there's a stretch stitch right here, right after the zigzag stitch. There's a stitch that we usually use when you're navigating a stretch. This fabric stretches a lot, so you can see this. When you use straight stitch here, it's going to stop the stretch. It's going to interfere with the natural stretch of the fabric. But when you use this design, which kind of navigates the weave of the fabric, it stretches along with the fabric. So that's the difference. And as I said, I'm just pinning it down and no puckering, because I already zigzagged the edge and that stretched it out a bit. So there I go. Okay, all right. This hem is about 1/2 inch, or 3/8 rather. Yeah. 3/8 would be a little small. Let me see the last one I did. Yeah, this is about 1/2 inch, so I'm folding it into itself about 1/2 inch. Alright, so I'm ready to now set it on this design. It's like a wide zigzag stitch, but it has smaller stitches inside it. And then I put the length on, but I want to give it a little more width. Okay, so I put it on 4. And I'm ready to stitch now. So now how I make sure that I go straight and no all over the place is that and not all over the place, is that I position the garment edge on the edge of the foot. And as I stitch, I'm not looking at what the needle is doing. I'm looking at the edge to make sure that it's sitting exactly on the edge of the foot. Okay, as you can see. Okay, and I take my time to take off the pins before I get so that initial zigzag stitch is very helpful because it stretches out the edge, and that enables me to stitch pretty easily. I don't stretch as I stitch. Make sure I stitch into where I started. So on the outside I cut the threads, but on the inside I pull them together and I tie a knot just to make sure it doesn't unravel. About 2 knots will do. Okay, and then I cut. Okay, so here I have flat and nice, very nice design. You will usually see this design, this particular stitch on bras and panty edges. It works wonders on stretch fabrics. Okay, I'm going to use the same design on the edges all around. Okay, so that's one of the good things that these stitches do. Thanks.